We just finished our first year of homeschooling first grade, and I wanted to go ahead and make a quick video about our portfolio. It was something I had worried about the entire year, but we just got it back. It has been evaluated, and I got a very, very good report back. So I'll go ahead and show you. We have some artwork in the cover. Then I have in this front pocket a learning goals list. I created this myself. I originally just wrote the different things down in a notebook. I went through our state standards first, but then I later found a book called What Your First Grader Needs to Learn or Needs to Know, and went through it and kind of compared and added a few things. In West Virginia, we are not required to go by our state standards. We have complete freedom in whatever we want to teach our children. They just have to show academic progress in all of the subjects for the year. So our first page is our list of our field trips that we went on. Then I have our educational games, the online games, apps, and board games that we play regularly. And then I took just regular copy paper, hole punched it, and taped pictures. So these are all pictures from our field trips for the year. Field trips we took as a family and field trips that we did with our local homeschool group. Oh, this is from the Children's Museum. The one in Pittsburgh. I highly recommend it. It was awesome. Then we get to our reading tab. I have a summary here that talks about how when we started out reading, we were doing the Book It program, or challenges, I guess, and it got a little too overwhelming. My daughter was getting discouraged, so then we switched to Hooked on Phonics. This is her reading list of books that she has read independently by herself and how long it took her. Then I should add on this reading list, it doesn't include all books. These are just the ones that I remembered to write down. Then I have some of the little book reports that we did, the Book It program calendars. Then I took the index of the workbooks for the Hooked on Phonics and copied those. Next we have language arts. This is a picture of the kids playing bananagrams. I put summaries here of the material we used, or the workbook, First Language Lessons of the Well-Trained Mind, and then I also talked about a book that she had wrote, and also created a little stuffed animal to go along with it. It was called the Gingerbread Boy, and I wasn't able to include it because she gifted it to her grandmother, so I just wrote about it here. I took the cover and the index for the First Language Lessons and copied all of those pages, included them. Then these are all writing samples. I have way more writing samples than I really needed to in here, but it just got to the point where I kept going through it and taking things out because I had way too much, and eventually I was just like, you know what, forget it, I'm just going to send it in the way it is. So I have a few workbook pages from workbooks we got at the dollar store. And then these are all writing samples. Most of the writing samples are from the First Language Lesson workbook lessons that we did. And I actually got this lined paper for those from pagingsupermom.com. I made a ton of copies of it at the beginning of the year and stuck them in a folder that I would keep with our language lesson workbook, so we could just pull out whenever we had copy work in that lesson. I could just pull one out. See, so many examples. Okay, then this was a book that we created, The Seasons. It was from one of the lessons in the First Language Lessons, but you get the idea here. Then for math, I took pictures of some of the activities, manipulatives, and games that we played. Then we used Math UC Alpha, so I copied the page, the index page of I believe it was the teacher's manual. Then these are all the tests, quizzes that we did for math, and just a few like colorful worksheets and things that I kept in there. And there were a lot of tests, so I'll just go ahead and skip to science. Here are some pictures from our local play group that we attend. The woman who runs it is one of my friends, and she actually does some experiments for our kids while we're there. These are some of the science experiments that we did. We use a chemistry and magnets kit this year from WizKid, and I absolutely loved those. They were great. 2 science projects that we did. If you live in West Virginia, we actually had a science fair. It was targeted for homeschoolers in North Central West Virginia through a group or facility in Fairmont, West Virginia called Learning Options. So if you're in West Virginia, be on the lookout for that this next coming spring. Then these are some of the science activities or projects that we did. And then here's just a few examples. But most of our stuff in science I photographed. So we have a ton of photographs here. I'll just flip through. Lots and lots of science projects from those 2 kits that we bought. They include a ton of experiments. So with those, the kits that we used, they actually had an index. I was able to copy it and stick in here. This is the one for the chemistry kit. This is the one for the magnets kit. Then we are on to social studies. Again, I did another summary of things that we learned or covered in geography, things that we learned in history. I listed a lot of things here that I didn't otherwise have a way to kind of show that we had learned them. Let's see, we have just a bunch of maps and things. Here's some more pictures. We used the, what's that called? Google Earth. And we would, whenever we were learning a certain area or studying a certain area, we would actually, you can use a feature on there called pins, and you can place these little, looks like little tacks, little pins on those areas, so then when you zoom out and zoom in, you can see where they are in relation to each other and things. It was pretty cool. We actually used Story of the World for a little bit. We kind of slowly went through it. It was just a lot of information for her to be able to remember. So I have some maps from it. Then we're on to art, which is mainly pictures. Then there's also like some home ec stuff that we did. A community event we went to, and our picture made the paper. And then more art that I didn't want to hole punch. And that's it. I hope you find this helpful. I know, like I said, I was really nervous. So, yeah, there we go.